My name is Jared Nieuwenhuis. I work at Her Interactive, the developer and publisher of Nancy Drew Games, and I'm the director of marketing. Well, I was a gamer pretty much very early on, but a gamer of a different sort. I was very much into sports and played soccer both collegiately and professionally. But I also just loved games growing up. I mean, I was the first kid on the block to, play Galaga and, have an Atari and all that good stuff. And we just had, 24-hour tournaments and all the rest of it. So I was always into games from pretty much a pretty young age. No, both my BA and my MA is not completely unrelated, but it's in communications, mass communications and political science. But it was something really that I just gravitated towards after graduating, and I always wanted to be in the entertainment space, particularly not necessarily games, but when it came to mobile entertainment, online entertainment, and then that just gradually morphed into games. My first job, well, I was working for a company that, again, was kind of in the mobile entertainment space. And one day, and I believe this was back in 2005, we have to start developing games for mobile. The first one that I worked on was taking a lot of TV properties over to mobile. One of those first ones was Deal or No Deal, and taking that to mobile. And then we did New York Times Crossword, and then we did one of our best ever games that we did, was highly successful, was Family Feud. Now that seems like an older property or older brand that wouldn't really have a lot of cachet with today's players, but it was very, very successful. Yeah, again, from those titles to a lot of Nancy Drew games, which I currently do right now, to Hardy Boys, to some games that I launched when I was with Sandlot Games called Cake Mania, some older titles such as Galactic Skater, Snail Mail, so again, on multiple different platforms. Well, I think the biggest difference is just the proliferation of platforms. And how quickly the industry moves as well. When I first started and working for a pure play game company, it was all about console and then about PCs. And then we've gone to social and everybody wanted to be on social. And then we went to mobile and everyone wanted to be mobile. And now, not only that, but now we want to focus on casino as a way to generate revenue very quickly, looking at the success of other apps that are in that space. But I think the biggest lesson is how quickly and how much you need to be ahead of that curve and not behind it. Because if you look at social, for example, what happened on Facebook, it was a great platform for a very short time, and then it went away. So it's really a good lesson for people that are either in the industry or who want to get into industry, that you really need to stay on top of those trends. Well, probably rather generic advice, but I would learn as much as you possibly can. Learn as much as you can about all the different platforms. And then also learn about the kind of games that you like and enjoy and play yourself. And then target those companies that you want to work for that develop those types of games. I think a hard thing to do is work for a company that is developing games that you don't really enjoy or don't believe in. I personally believe that you need to. So really taking the time to understand it, to play them, to be able to talk about it, I think is really important. Yes, but I think it's continually changing. So I do think there is a place for free-to-play. But what that looks like a year or 2 years from now, I think will probably look different than what it does right now. I think a lot of us are still learning about, the core metrics that we're tracking and where to put those, those value adds or where to offer those power-ups and when you might want to purchase something and when you might not want to. So I think as an industry, we're currently learning and growing and getting much better at it. So I do think it's going to look different in 1 to 2 years, but I do think it'll be here. It's a very good question, and it is challenging because the players these days, do expect a free version, or they do look for that free version first. I think we've been able to, buck that trend a little bit because, well, we have a fantastic brand, a brand that's recognizable even 85 years after we've launched it. So that certainly helps us, but not every game developer has that advantage. But the second part is making a real high quality game. and a game that is near flawless and seamless, and it's a lot of fun. They're going to want to talk about it, play it, share with their friends. That is really what it's going to take. So I think there's even more pressure on developers that create premium games than there is on free-to-play, because you really only get that one shot. And if they don't enjoy it, they're never going to come back, and they're never going to come back and purchase another game. So in 2015, and keep in mind I left my crystal ball at home, however, I think we'll be talking about a lot about the same issues. I think it will be about free-to-play. I think we'll be talking about casinos still. I think we'll be talking about how some of those traditional developers on console, PC, Mac are still performing in the game industry. I think certainly Microsoft with Xbox, and there's going to be a lot of new features and new consoles there as well. So I think a lot of people are looking forward to that. I think we'll be talking a lot about mobile still. Certainly that's not going away. So I think a lot of those same issues will still be there in 2015.